Oh hey guys, look, new episode of the Anonymity Tales out now. Greetings to yet another video. And well, I was going to do a response to an article from The Independent about our patron day, our patron saint's day, St. George's Day, and how it's dog whistling or something. I can't remember exactly what it was about, but don't worry, that will come tomorrow, even though St. George's Day will be long gone by then. But I have to talk about this. It's breaking news. And Count Dankula's verdict has come in. Count Dankula has essentially walked free, although he has been punished with a slap on the wrist. He has been given an £800 fine. And loads of people are celebrating this, and, you know, to some extent quite rightly. And this is, to some extent, a silver lining in a very dark rain cloud. But the thing is, this is not actually the time to be celebrating because we've not actually won anything yet. The fight for free speech in the UK is still ongoing. We can't just sit here and celebrate one person's victory, even though it isn't really a victory. It's really more of a psychological victory in the sense. Call it the Tet Offensive during the Vietnam War, although the Vietnamese, the North Vietnamese that is, didn't actually win the battle. They did win a psychological battle which set in motion the American withdrawal, and ultimately they conquered the country, but whatever. You can argue we have that, but we don't know if we're actually going to, you know, achieve what we want to achieve. You know, are we going to get a written constitution? Are we going to get a First Amendment? Are we going to save people from going to prison for the things that they say? And are we going to bring back free speech in this country? Well, we don't know. That's why I feel that some of the celebrations are a bit premature, because for this kind of victory for Dankula, there's others being arrested and being put into jail for doing similar things, or even worse things. And regardless of that, the precedent has been set, because as he said on Twitter, this is how English law and Scottish law, British law in general, works. It's based on precedents, and the precedent has now been set that if you say something that the government or the police don't like, you can be fined and potentially go to prison, or both. You can be punished for the things that you say and do. The government has basically said that the state can decide what people can say and do and now think. That is the precedent that's now been set, and the CPS and the police will go around and find people who they think are committing thought crime, and that has to change. Personally, I'm glad that Dankula and Sue are finally away from all this stress and bullshit. I mean, apparently the press were absolutely awful after the verdict. Apparently one of the cameramen tried to trip with Sue, and one of them got right up into Dankula's face and asked him something about the Jews or something. I can't exactly remember the question, but that's just the British press for you guys. Manners, etiquette, they've never cared about that. It's all about the clicks, or decades ago, it was all about how many units they could sell. They don't care about you. They don't care about how they get these questions out towards these people that they don't like, but they'll do it. I mean, again, I still just cannot believe that it actually got to this point. I can't believe that out of all of this, of 2 years of him being in and out of the court system, being delayed constantly, and having to pay so much money for his legal counsel. Not only that, the Crown Prosecution Service and the police also spent money not only on his arrest and also notifying the press, which may or may not be illegal, but also the CPS basically paying money for the constant court dates that they had to set up. It must be in the region of tens of thousands of pounds of taxpayers' money. All of that for an £800 fine. That's just a joke. I mean, that in itself is a joke. The fact that it even went through the court system, the fact he got arrested for a stupid video about a pug doing Nazi salute, which I personally found funny. But all of that over this, all that money wasted, all that money that could have gone towards dealing with certain issues in certain towns dealt by a certain group of people on another group of people, but I can't talk about that, it's hate speech. That could have been better spent actually fighting proper crime rather than other people just expressing views or making jokes. It's retarded. And it just shows that our country, it's just ass backwards. It's not got its priorities straight. It seems like this government and all of the potential governments, it seems, because pretty much all the parties, to some extent, are cooked. It doesn't matter what they do, their priorities are not set in the right way, because they'd much rather have the police deal with online crime and also put forth certain rules like, the misogyny, hate crime thing in Nottingham, rather than actually dealing with things that affect women, like those things that I can't quite mention in those towns, that I can't quite mention with those demographics that I can't actually mention. Just so you know, guys, I can't actually mention it. I'm just trying to do that for a joke. Don't arrest me, I have a licence. I mean, at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if you do need a licence for being a comedian, and the licence for jokes, and the licence for opinions. It wouldn't surprise me at this point. It seems to be the way that our country's heading anyway. At the same time, and I know I'm basically going off on a tangent, I'm just ranting about my country at this point, but fuck it, this is what this video was anyway. They're introducing knife crime laws that aren't even going to deal with knife crime. Basically, they're making it harder to buy knives and replica weapons. Replica weapons, the stuff that isn't actually used in knife crime or just, offensive weapon crimes in general. It's mostly just kitchen knives and the occasional machete. Like, how's that going to fix that? They can still go and buy them. Never mind that the so-called party of, business is now making it even harder for small businesses to make money, because they have to be seen to be doing something about knife crime because they cut the police. And not only that, the London mayor has actually made it hard for what little police there is left in London to actually do their jobs. And let's not forget that they're also basically ignoring these problems because they're cooked. Let's show them that we're doing something, even though we're doing nothing at all but papering over the cracks and forcing small businesses to emigrate or close down. Yeah, that's really good priorities, Theresa. Great priorities. Anyway, that's pretty much it. The fight is not over. This was not really a victory. It was really more of a psychological one. But that itself is not a victory. That leads to a victory in the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, they just continue to do this, and we fall further into the rabbit hole of an Orwellian nightmare. And so, yeah, I guess I'm just trying to appeal for calmness and to be real. I'm not trying to, rain on anybody's parade or anything, but there really isn't a time to celebrate just yet, really, in my opinion. Got a lot of hard work to do, which is going to take a while. So, yeah, and anyway, until next time, it's been your boy, and I'll see you later.